So today we're gonna be making this little mushy pop. I'm gonna keep this intro super short, but I love these little guys. I'm super addicted to making them, and I want to show you how to make them. If you guys are new, welcome to my channel. I posted these on my shorts, and a bunch of you guys were asking for a tutorial, so here it is.
For this project, I have a 4.5mm hook, but you can use whatever hook your yarn recommends or whatever hook you're more comfortable with.
Okay, so first here, we're gonna start out with our magic circle. If you don't know how to make a magic circle, don't worry. I will show you really quick. You're gonna start out by taking the very end of your string, and you're gonna pinch it between your index finger and your thumb. And then you're gonna make a diagonal line across your two fingers, just like this. And you're gonna bring this piece of yarn around the two fingers and make an X. I'll show you that again really quick. You're gonna take the end of your yarn, put it between your thumb and your index finger, make a diagonal line, go around, and make an X. From here, you're gonna take your hook, go to the top part of your X, but only to the middle of it, and you're gonna grab the thread behind it, just like this. So I'll show you that again. You have your X here, you're gonna go through the top and grab the yarn behind. So after you have your yarn on your hook like this, you're going to twist your hook so that it's facing you, and then you're gonna grab that same piece of yarn you just grabbed. So that same little section, so it should look like you have two loops on your hook, and you're gonna pull through that first loop. And really quick, you have that X, you're gonna go through with your hook, grab that back yarn, twist your hook towards you, grab that same yarn again, and pull through. And then you should have your magic circle. After we have our magic circle, we're gonna go ahead and do our first row. My magic circle, I like to put my pinky in so that I can hold the tail of the magic circle while I'm crocheting so it doesn't come undone. So for that first row, we're gonna do 6 single crochets into the magic circle. So we're gonna go into the magic circle, grab our yarn, pull up, then we're gonna grab our yarn and pull through both loops on your hook. And then again, into the magic circle, grab your yarn, pull up, there should be 2 loops on your hook. You're gonna grab your yarn and pull through both loops. We're gonna do this 6 times. Into the magic circle, grab your yarn, pull up, grab yarn, pull through both loops. We have 3 single crochets now, so we have to do 3 more. Into the magic circle, grab your yarn, pull up, 2 loops on your hook. You're gonna grab your yarn and pull through both loops. That was 4. Into the magic circle, grab your yarn, pull up, 2 loops on your hook, grab your yarn, pull through both. We have 5 single crochets, so we need to do 1 more. Into the magic circle, grab your yarn, pull up, grab your yarn, pull through both loops, and now we have those 6 single crochets in the magic circle. Now to get that round look, we're just gonna pull the tail of our magic circle all the way tight. Pull, pull, pull. It should look like this after you complete your magic circle and you've tightened it. And you're gonna go into this first loop through both loops, and you're going to make a slip stitch. To make a slip stitch, we're gonna yarn over and pull through all the loops on our hook. And that should close your magic circle. We're gonna go ahead and move on to row 2. For row 2, we're gonna do an increase in every single stitch. So we should have 12 stitches by the end since we're increasing into 6 stitches. So to increase, you're gonna go into your single crochet. You're gonna yarn over, pull through once, pull up. Then you're gonna yarn over again, pull through both loops. And to do that increase, we're gonna go into the same stitch we just went into. Again, we're gonna yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through both loops. So an increase is just 2 single crochets in the same loop. So we're gonna go into our next loop, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. We're gonna go into that same loop, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, our next loop, we're gonna go in, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. Ooh, sorry, cannot see that one. Okay, so we are now on our 4th loop. So we're gonna go through that 4th loop again. We're gonna do an increase, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. In that same loop, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. Then we're gonna go do that 5th one, yarn over, pull up, pull through 2, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. Then we're gonna go through our last loop here to finish our increases. Yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. Ooh, try to get it in the same hole. Yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. This is what the end of row 2 should look like. If you're not sure if you skipped a stitch on accident maybe, you can just go back and count your stitches. This row should have 12 stitches. You could always use a stitch marker to make sure you're ending at the right spot, or you could just count your stitches, whichever way is more comfortable for you. Moving on to our 3rd row, we're going to do 1 single crochet and 1 increase. So in each stitch, it's going to be 1 single crochet here, 1 increase here, single crochet here, increase here. And I'll show you. My next row, I am gonna use a stitch marker, so I'll show you how to do that as well. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead with our next row. We're gonna go through that first loop, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, and that is our first loop. And right here, I'm gonna put my stitch marker so I don't forget where I just put that stitch. Then for our next stitch, we're gonna go ahead and increase. So I'm gonna put it through the stitch, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. Then we're gonna go into that same loop, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. And we're gonna continue the same pattern, doing single crochet, then increase, single crochet, then increase, but I'll show you a few more. So we're gonna go into that loop, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. So that one's a single crochet, the next one's gonna be an increase. So we're gonna go into that loop, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, go into the same loop, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. And then we're gonna do a single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase until we get back to that stitch marker, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I just removed that stitch marker and I put the last single crochet there. And now we're gonna move on to row 4. For row 4, we're gonna do a single crochet into all 18 stitches. So for that single crochet, first I'm gonna make the first single crochet. So go in, grab yarn, pull up, grab yarn, pull through 2. Sorry if this is messing you up. And then I'm gonna put my stitch marker right here at the first stitch. And we're going to single crochet 18. So that was 1. We're gonna go through, grab yarn, pull up, grab yarn, pull through both loops on your hook. Go through the next stitch, grab yarn, pull up, grab yarn, pull through both. Again, go through, grab yarn, pull up, grab yarn, pull through both. And we're gonna do that all the way around until we get to that stitch marker. So this is what it should look like now. You should start to see it more cone shape. And don't worry, we're gonna sew that in later. Go ahead with row 5, and it's a little bit different, so just bear with me on this one. We're gonna start with a single crochet into that first loop. And I'm gonna put this stitch marker. So we did 1 single crochet into that first loop of row 5, and then we're gonna go do an increase into the next one. So you're gonna yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. And as before the increase, we're gonna go into that same stitch, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's how we're gonna start row 5, with a single crochet and an increase. And up until our last loop, we're gonna do 2 single crochets and then an increase. So I'll go along with you and I know you'll get the hang of it. So we're gonna go into this loop, do 1 of our single crochets. Next loop, another single crochet, so that's 2 single crochets. And then for the third one here, we're gonna do an increase. Go through, pull through 2, do that same loop, pull through 2. And then again, we're gonna do 2 single crochets and an increase. So we just did 2 single crochets and we just finished our increase. So now we're gonna do again 2 single crochets. Do that next stitch, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. So that was 2 single crochets. Now we're gonna do an increase on our third one. Yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. Do that same stitch, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. So that was our increase. Now we have 2 single crochets and an increase. And we're going to do our increase. And then keep doing this until you have one final stitch of the row left. So once you're at the last stitch, you have one more stitch left. We're gonna do 1 single crochet. So that's gonna finish off your row 5. Now row 6 here is gonna be one of our easier rows again. You're just gonna do single crochets all across the row. So we're gonna have 24 single crochets. I'm just gonna do my first single crochet here and place my stitch marker. So we're going to do 24 single crochets all the way. Go through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And we're just going to do that all over for row 6. So just continue doing your single crochets and I'll meet you back at the end of the row. Okay, so I just finished row 6. And if you notice that you kind of have a large hole right here, you can just pull it a little bit tighter and then you should be good. Also right here, if you wanted to embroider any little specks for your mushroom, like this little guy, put any little specks or any little designs, you would do it right here so that you have enough space. I think I'm just gonna go for my little plain mushroom. After row 6, I'm going to sew in this little stem we have here. I'm just gonna put the yarn into the darning needle and then I'm gonna pull it a little bit tighter. I like to just go around a little bit and then just put it through. Okay, so now we have the top of our little mushroom. And then I'm just gonna keep this in here. I'm not gonna cut it or anything. I'm just gonna leave them in there. So it should look a little bit like this. For row 7, we're gonna do exactly the same thing we just did in row 6. Row 7 is gonna be 24 single crochets. So do the same thing. So we're gonna do that first single crochet for row 7, and then we're gonna place our stitch marker. Then we're gonna do 24 single crochets all around. So we're gonna go ahead and do our last stitch of row 7. That's row 7 complete, and you're gonna wanna count and make sure that you have 24 all around. So far, this is our little mushroom head. It's looking so cute. And now we're gonna get started on the mushroom body. For row 8, it is gonna be a little bit different. I know we've been working into both loops of the stitch, but we're only gonna be working in the back loops of each stitch. So instead of going through both loops of one stitch, we're just gonna work in that back loop. And I'll show you how I like to switch over from blue to pink. Okay, so remember, back loop only. I'm still working with my blue right now, but just so I can switch to my pink in a second. So for the beginning of row 8, it's gonna be 1 single crochet. So I'm gonna go into the back loop only, grab my yarn, pull up, but instead of grabbing my yarn and pulling through, I'm going to grab my pink yarn and pull through both loops of the blue. So that single crochet is finished with the pink color, and now we're no longer working with the blue, we're gonna work with the pink. I'm just gonna place that stitch marker into that first stitch. And I'm going to cut the blue yarn, but not too short. So for our row 8, we have 1 single crochet where we change the color to pink. We're gonna do 1 decrease, back loop only. So for a decrease, we're going to go into that back loop only, and this is only for this pattern. For a normal decrease, you would go into both loops. But for this decrease, we're going to go into the back loop only, yarn over our pink yarn and pull up. Then we're going to go into our next stitch back loop without doing anything with this loop. So we're going to have 2 loops on our hook. Go into your next stitch back loop, yarn over, pull up. We should have 3 loops on our hook. Then we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So that's going to be your decrease. So for row 8, starting out, we had 1 single crochet, 1 decrease. And then for the rest of your row 8, you're going to do 2 single crochets and 1 decrease until that last stitch. I'll show you how that looks now. 2 single crochets, back loop only. We're going to go back loop, grab your yarn, pull up, grab your yarn, pull through 2. Then we're going to go 1 more back loop, grab your yarn, pull up, grab your yarn, pull through 2. So since we're doing 2 single crochets and 1 decrease, we're going to do a decrease into our next stitch. Grab your yarn, pull up. Don't pull through these 2. We're going to go through the next stitch, grab yarn, pull up, and then we're going to pull through all 3. One more time. We're going to go through this one, grab yarn, pull up. This is our first single crochet. Grab yarn, pull up. This is our second single crochet. And then we're going to do a decrease into our next stitch. Okay, and we're going to continue this all the way until our last stitch of the row. Okay, so we're at our last stitch here. Just gonna remove the stitch marker, and we're gonna do 1 single crochet into this last stitch right here. You should have 18 stitches for row 8. And you can see we changed the color to pink. Remember, row 8 is back loop only. It should look like this so far. You can tell we just switched colors. Then we're gonna move on to row 9. Row 9 is one of our easy rows, which I like to call it. It's gonna be 18 single crochets. So we're gonna go into that first stitch, and it's gonna be both loops now. I know you just did back loop only. We're gonna go into the full stitch, make that first single crochet, and put down our stitch marker. Okay, so now we're gonna make 18 single crochets all around. Just remember, go through both, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through both. Both loops, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through both. Both loops, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through both. We're gonna do that all the way around, and I'll meet you back at the stitch marker. So that's gonna be the end of row 9. We're gonna take out our stitch marker, do that last stitch of row 9. That's gonna complete row 9. Just count and make sure you have 18 stitches all around. Okay, so we did our single crochet. We're gonna find the next stitch, go through, yarn over, pull up. Don't do anything yet because we're gonna go through the next stitch, yarn over, pull up. We should have 3 loops on our hook. Then we're gonna yarn over and pull through all 3. So that's gonna be our decrease. This row, we're gonna do 1 single crochet, 1 decrease. So this is our single crochet. We're gonna do a decrease. So we're gonna go through, yarn over, pull up, go through the next, yarn over, pull up. Then we're gonna pull through all 3 loops on our hook. Next, single crochet, another decrease, yarn over, pull up. Next one, yarn over, pull up, pull through all 3. And we're gonna do that all the way until we get back to the stitch marker. We're at our last stitch of the row. So we're gonna remove the stitch marker, do that last single crochet. So by the end of row 10, we should have 12 single crochets. You can tell it's getting a little bit smaller. So for row 11, it's gonna be one of our easy rows, which I love. We're just gonna do 12 single crochets all around. So we're gonna do that first single crochet here. And then we're gonna place our stitch marker in that first stitch and go all around single crochets until you reach the stitch marker. And it should be 12. Okay, we're at that final stitch of row 11. So we're gonna take out that stitch marker and do our last single crochet. So that should be 12 stitches in this row. So for row 12, we're gonna do 6 decreases. I'll show you how that looks. And we're gonna end the row with 6 stitches. So right now we have 12, we're gonna decrease so we only have 6 stitches. So to start this row, we're gonna find that first stitch, go in, yarn over, pull up. And since we're doing decreases, we're gonna go into that next stitch as well. Yarn over, pull up, and we're gonna pull through all 3 stitches on our hook. All 3 loops, I'm sorry. So then our next one, we're gonna do the same thing. Go through that, yarn over, pull up. Don't do anything yet, because we're gonna go through the next one. Yarn over, pull up, and we're gonna pull through all 3 loops on our hook. And we're gonna keep doing this until we reach the end of the row. I just realized I didn't put a stitch marker. Give me 1 second. Here we go. And we're gonna keep doing this until the end of the row. So go through one, go through the next one, pull through all 3 loops. And at the end, it's gonna look very small, but that's how it should look because we're only gonna have 6 stitches at the end of this row. It's kind of hard to find. These stitches are so small now. By the end of row 12, it should look a little something like this. This is gonna be the long part of your mushroom, this little area. So I know it looks a little weird right now, but it's gonna be the little long piece here. Row 13, we're gonna go ahead and start on the little body. We are almost done. Okay, so row 13 is gonna be a little trickier, but don't worry, I'll walk you through it. Row 13, I like to flatten it out a little bit just so it's easier for me to see my stitches, because when it's like round like this, I can't really see the entire stitch. So this is my first stitch here. Row 13 is gonna be front loops only. So earlier we did back loop only. This time it's gonna be front loop only. And row 13 is gonna be 6 increases. So we just did 6 decreases, now we're gonna do 6 increases. Increasing, remember, is 2 stitches in the same loop. So for the start of this row, I'm gonna go into the front loop only of this stitch. I'm gonna yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. And then in that same front loop only, I'm gonna yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's gonna be 1 increase, and that's where I'm gonna place my stitch marker. And then for the rest of the row, it's gonna be the same front loop only, increase. So we're gonna yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through both. In that same front loop only, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through both. I know it's kind of hard because the stitches are like really in there, but you got this. In that front loop only, and then yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through both. Ooh, see, I'm already struggling. In that same loop, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through both. And we're gonna keep increasing all 6 stitches, and I will meet you back at the end. Make sure you're only putting 2 loops into each stitch because I accidentally put 3 in one and then I messed up. So if you want to make sure you didn't do that, just count at the end and you should have 12 stitches. So for this row, it's going to be one of our easy rows. We're just going to do 12 single crochets all around. We're going to start off that next row, put our stitch marker, and we're going to do 12 single crochets all around. 14. I'm just gonna make that last stitch here. And it should be 12 stitches in row 14. Now row 15 and 16, we're gonna do exactly the same thing. You're gonna do 12 single crochets all around, 2 rows. So what we just did, just do that 2 more times and I'll meet you back. So right here is the end of row 16. Gonna do that last stitch. So at the end of row 16, you should have 3 rows of 12 single crochets. And you should definitely see that it's starting to come together. We're almost there. At the end of row 16 is where I like to put in my safety eye. For a good pack of safety eyes, I got this pack of 600 pieces for like $8 on Amazon. Also my Amazon storefront with a bunch of other things that I recommend. So I'll have that link in the description as well. Place your eyes wherever you want around the little body. I'm just gonna put them right here. Hold on, let me do this real quick. I chose blue eyes because the little blue at the top, I think it looks so cute together. Oh, that's a little too far. Kind of cute though. Okay, I think that looks good. We're just gonna snap on the back of our safety eyes. You don't want to snap in the safety eyes too hard because then it might look a little crazy like the eyes are popping out of his head. But yeah, we're just gonna snap on our safety eyes. Boop. And we're gonna continue with our little mushy. Okay, so we have our little eyes inside our mushie-pop. It is looking so cute. And right before we finish our last row, row 17, we're gonna put our stuffing into the bottom here. You wanna make sure that this is as closed up as possible. If it looks a little bit too open, you can just sew here a little bit, but I think mine looks fine. We're gonna put a little bit of stuffing before our last row. I found these little balls at Dollar Tree, and I feel like they work really well for this project because I just pop them in there and I don't really have to do much. But you could also use scrap yarn, any pieces of clothing you might have from other projects. I usually use my scrap yarn, but I just use it all up. So yeah, I use these because they fit perfectly and they're just $1 for like a pack of like 15. So yeah, pretty good. We're gonna get started on our last row. For our last row, we're gonna do 6 decreases. So it should close up our little mushie-pop right here. So I'm gonna go into that first loop. Gonna grab my yarn, go into my next loop, grab my yarn, pull up. I should have 3 loops on my hook. Gonna pull through all 3. And then I'm just gonna do that all around this last row. So we're gonna decrease.
Pull up, should have 3, and I go through, pull through all 3.
This is what it should look like after all of your decreases. And then I'm gonna leave a long tail so that I can sew up this bottom piece. Even if you want, you could do another decrease. I think I might do that actually. We're gonna do one more decrease and then we're gonna sew it up. Yarn, put it through the darning needle. Also, am I saying that right? I don't know if it's darning needle or darning, I don't know. But let me know. So we're just gonna sew up these little bits here.
I like to just kind of go around in the circle and just sew her up so that you can't see any more of the stuffing inside.
All the way through. Pull the string all the way. This should be the bottom of your mushie-pop. And then we're gonna cut off the little string here. Sew in these little pieces however you like. Here we have our little mushroom, and now it's time for everybody's favorite part. Okay, so my favorite part about the little mushroom, obviously, is that it does a little pop. So here we go. We're just gonna squish him down. He's so cute. Oh my goodness. And then, boop. I hope you guys love your little mushroom because I love my little mushroom. I'm definitely adding him to my mushroom collection. Let me know if you guys enjoyed the video. And like I said, you can just easily change the yarn if you want it to be like a different texture, different size. It's gonna be the same pattern, just different yarn. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.